Another episode. So first off, we're going to start with the first topic of the day. The 76ers going up against the Boston Celtics in an epic Game 4. So we had Philly taking Game 1. James Harden scoring a playoff, high, 45 points, without Joel Embiid playing. So that was a phenomenal game. How'd you guys feel about that game?
I felt great about that. James Harden, that right there showed me, I see James Harden showing me signs that he's the James Harden of old. Taking up for his, he's being the number one option, being that guy who brought his team, that Houston Rockets team, to the playoffs and dominating. That right there shows me old dominance of James Harden. I can, trust James Harden again.
How you feel about
that game?
I don't think we're ever going to get that James Harden again this postseason.
Okay.
Because Embiid was out, so James Harden had to do that. If it wasn't for Embiid being out, James Harden don't put up them numbers. When you ever seen James Harden putting up 45?
You're right.
Are you smoking?
And he's old.
Okay, that point makes sense. But
that's right.
Let's not forget who James Harden was. But let me ask this question though, you guys, because since James Harden scored the 45 points, he has been non-existent since. And so, with Joel Embiid's return, so I wanted to ask, how has Joel Embiid's impact since his return for the 76ers impacted the team? Like, how do you guys feel them inserting Joel Embiid back since an LCL injury has affected them as a whole? Has it made them better? Has it made them worse? Is it a spacing? Like, what is it? Because I see something different. What do you guys see?
I see in a way with this. So with Joel Embiid coming back into this offense, I don't want to say it's being good or bad for the team. They're just going back off the old offense while Joel Embiid is the number one guy, right? But Joel Embiid is clearly not at 100%. So this is where I would look at James Harden and the supporting cast to pick up for the slack of Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's going to do what he got to do because, Mr. MVP, congrats to Joel Embiid for winning MVP. Shout out to that. This is where his teammates and everyone else, and like a James Harden, who showed dominance in Game 1, needs to show that dominance again. So at this point, I don't think it's bad. Joel Embiid's going to do what he got to do. But I feel like Joel Embiid should take a step back and try to let James Harden take over. Yeah. That's how I feel about it.
I'm gonna say Joel Embiid. He's a very significant impact of the team. Like you said, just winning regular season MVP.
Right.
But what you didn't mention was Joel Embiid is a big factor defensively.
That is true. He is.
He's one of the best defenders in the league right now. He's playing phenomenal on the defensive end, and he's carrying the load offensively too. When Maxi's not producing and Harden's not producing, it's Embiid. So without Embiid, the 76ers can't go far.
Okay, so the way I feel about it with the 76ers, I feel like without Joel Embiid, the game 1, Boston Celtics scored 66 points in the paint. So as he said, his impact as far as like being in the game is tremendous because Game 2, 36 points in the paint. So that's what I've noticed. I noticed every time they played against each other, they're driving the ball. But because Joel Embiid is such a force on defense, it forces them to change their offense. So what I would like to see, though, basically what Chris was mentioning, is that if you're going to insert Joel Embiid back into the game, they have to go off the hot hand, and the hot hand was James Harden. Basically, James Harden had a good game, but then he was relegated back to a point where, okay, Joel Embiid's back. He's the MVP. It's going to be his night when we go back to Philly. We got to insert him into the game even more. I felt like they should not have brought Joel Embiid back that early. I felt like they should have brought him back Game 3. But, it doesn't matter. It's a playoff, so you got to play. I just feel like when they run the ball through James Harden, it makes the team work better because we've seen it back in the Rockets. We've seen it in Houston. And what we seen in Houston was even when Russell Westbrook came in, they traded their center because they wanted more floor spacing for the team.
Exactly.
It made more sense for James Harden. James Harden does not operate. I'm not saying he doesn't operate well with the center, but we've seen him play with centers. He's not really too successful. We've seen him play with Dwight Howard. We've seen him play with Joel Embiid. We've seen him play with Clint Capella. He's not really him just when he's ball handling. I feel like James Harden has to be the primary scorer for them to succeed. So
I agree with that.
What do you guys think about Jason Tatum. So we've seen the last couple of games with Jason Tatum. I feel like there's something where we get an effect of Jason Tatum can have a great game, Jason Tatum can have a bad game. We seen game 1, Jason Tatum scored 39 points, and then we seen game 2, he scores 7 points, and then game 3, he scores 27 points. So what I want to know is, what I really want to know is, will we see more production from Jason Tatum? How do you feel about that?
The way I feel about it is, I know you mentioned he had 7 points the previous game, but he had 7 points because he was in foul trouble. He ended the game with 5 fouls. We all know Jason Tatum is one of the best players right now in the playoffs. And what separates him from all the other superstars is defensively. He is a dog defensively. He always shows up defensively. Can you name another superstar that's up there that plays as hard on defense than him?
Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
Joel Embiid.
Yes. Joel Embiid. There you go. I don't want to. I mean, I look. Want to say, I don't know about Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant too.
Yeah.
Devin Booker.
No, yeah, definitely Devin Booker.
Devin Booker.
Can we talk about players that actually exited the playoffs too, like Westbrook?
Jimmy Butler.
Oh, Jimmy Butler, definitely right
Kyle
there.
Lowry.
Yup.
Like I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Kyle Lowry is not a superstar.
I'm not saying he's a superstar,
He's an
but
all-star. It still counts.
But you're talking about impact on defense. He's in the, you said in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, who inputs on offense and inputs on defense. Gives the same effort.
Every player we just talked about besides Kyle Lowry
is
what
a two-way. There we go.
But how do you feel about Jason Tatum's production?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go with Richard on this one. 7 points. When you're in foul trouble, and especially playing at that level, you're gonna be less aggressive just because you don't want to get yourself into more foul troubles. You don't want to get yourself that last call that your team can really need you at that point in time. It's really tough. I can see. It's kind of tough. I know Jason Tatum wants to he wants to play hard every game. And he's gonna play hard every game. He's gonna give it 110% every single game. But where he doesn't want to put himself in a position where it's for the team where, hey, okay, I have this many fouls, I have this, I have that, I gotta chill out for a bit, And this is where I look at Jaylen Brown to take over if Jason Tatum can't, give that substance.
And I wanted to actually segue into that because that was actually added. Has Jaylen Brown shown that he is better than Jason Tatum at this point? And I'll ask you because that was basically your question. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, definitely. There's times and moments. Sorry, Richard. There's times and moments where I see that Jaylen Brown is definitely taking. How do I even say taking that gauntlet, that Thanos gauntlet from Jason Tatum? I'm that guy. I'm him. I feel like we underappreciate this guy too much. I don't know what it is, but he's definitely up there, and we need to just give him more of his flowers. He's really that guy.
So let me add to that. I'll say that Jaylen Brown, over the course of the couple games, has been more consistent. He's scoring between 23 to 25 points for those games. So he definitely has been more consistent on the offensive end. But I think defensively, I kind of got to go with Jason Tatum. If we're talking about who's going to take the last shot or who's going to... They haven't been in that predicament yet as far as this round goes. Right. And so if I were to pick between who would be the 1A or who would be the number one option for that team, I have to go with Jason Tatum because for the potential that he has. It's just that Jaylen Brown has more dog than him. That's all it really is. Jaylen Brown looks like he wants it a little more. Sometimes Jason Tatum, he's lethargic. He kind of walks around like he's always complaining to the refs and stuff. I don't know if I've seen Jason Tatum fall on the ground for a loose ball yet. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen it. But I've seen Jaylen Brown, you know what I'm saying, flying for loose balls. I see his face is broken. Oof. I see he kind of wants it a little more.
He almost got his face stepped on.
I asked you that question real quick. Exactly. You got a face mask.
He almost got his face stepped on.
Wait. Mask on.
Mask on.
Mask on. That nigga got his fucking mask on. Yeah, but Richard, how you feel about that?
Yeah, just like you said, Jaylen Brown definitely been playing more consistent. He's definitely been showing up offensively. Even last series, too. Every game showing up offensively. Jason Tatum is a better defender, like you said. He's been showing up more defensively, but Yeah, Jalen just got the dog in him right now. And I think that he's going to be the one to be the X factor to bring them over this hump against Philly.
Ain't no hump, bro. It's over.
Ain't no hump. It's over.
We seen what it looks like for Philly, and at first, okay, whatever, y'all. I jumped the gun with them, and I peeped. Okay, you know what? I might have been wrong a little bit, but one thing that I will say is that I don't think Boston has been battle tested. So, like, we're gonna see eventually. I don't think so. I feel like yes, Atlanta. I've seen that. Yes, Atlanta, they did have a little battle and stuff like that, but Atlanta's not really a team that you're supposed to worry about. What happens if they go against the Nuggets? What happens if they go against the Lakers? What happens if they go against the Warriors or the Suns?
Well,
those teams are not the teams in the East. I'm just being honest. They have not really been battle tested. If they're fucking up against niggas like that right now, and excuse my language, y'all, this is a family show. This is almost like Disney. This is almost like Disney Channel. Excuse my language. If they're messing up against people like that, what happens when they go against like the real dogs that's coming out the West? So that's what I'm saying. They haven't even been battle tested yet. So, quick thoughts. Final thoughts though on this before we go over our prediction. Go one.
Yeah. So what do you mean by battle tested? I want to bring this quick. What do you mean by battle tested? Are you talking about like as in this series or just overall this Celtics team is not battle tested? Because they seem pretty battle tested to me. If you want to talk about like that, shit that they went through. Sorry for my language. The things that they went through, like like a young team going against Bron in 2018.
Just this team
last year.
Just this team this year, right?
Just
now.
this team this year?
In this playoffs.
In this playoffs, then I can agree with you on that. But overall, like with Tatum and Brown and all these guys, like this group, they've been battle tested. They went to the finals last year.
They just playing a little suspect. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I can see what you mean by that.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
You good? All right, what about you? Do you want to add on to that or?
No, I think you guys covered everything.
Okay, so now I want to ask you guys, who needs Game 4 more, and what are your predictions? So let me know who you guys
who needs Game 4 more.
Is it Boston? Is it Philly? Who needs the game more? Who needs Game 4 more? Because right now, if Philly loses this game, done dada. Finito.
But what about Boston though? Like
no, the thing is, Boston has shown us the past 2 games. Okay, game 1, we messed up. Game 2, clapped. Game 3, clap them. Like, it's so real. We didn't even watch Game 3 like that. Let's keep it a buck. Did we watch Game 3?
Not really.
We saw what it was. We were like watching it, but then we're like, we see what's happening. I feel like, to me, Philly needs to win Game 4 if they want to make it a series. They don't win Game 4, it is not going to be a series. They're done. So, Philly, Clark B talking here. I love y'all. I showed y'all love, but y'all really need to step it up or else it's a wrap. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. If Philly don't win this next game, it's done deal because teams coming back from a 3-1 deficit is unheard of. This is you guys don't have LeBron James. You got Embiid.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, what do you think, Chris?
Oh, for me, y'all already know my answer for this. I like Philly, I fuck with James Harden. I fuck with Embiid. I've been wanting Embiid to win MVP. Yeah. This right here is a game that they really need. Philly really needs to win Game 4 if they really want a chance to win this series. And Game 4, there's no home, right? Right? Yeah, like
Game 4, they're home.
They're home. Yeah, this right here. This is a statement game. You guys haven't won on your home court yet. Right? It was Philly's ahead of them or no? Or
bro, Philly only won 1 at Boston. They won Game 1 at Boston. Boston's won the last.
Yeah, that shows it right there. You're gonna let these. You took 1 at their place, and then the next game after that, Game 2 and 3, Boston won those 2 games. They won one at home, and they won at your home court. You need to set the statement like, this is my home court. Y'all not gonna beat me in my home court. They really need this game. If they lose both games at home, y'all lost the series. You're not bringing this to Game 7. Man. There's no way. You're not doing it because you're showing that you can't win at home, and they can show that you barely won on the road.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on,
it's scary.
It's scary. Y'all need to win this game. It's an ASAP emergency must-win game.
So Boston or Philly?
I got Philly.
Boston or Philly?
I got Boston.
Okay, I got Boston. Game 4 today. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. Who do you think is going to win? And who do you think is going to be the most impactful player for this game today? Game 4.